Okay, picking up again with the off-the-shelf video series on Strategos 2. The full full 4-turn example of play given in the rules. Battle of Cannae. And picking up with the start of turn 3, the Punic player turn 3. So the Carthaginians declare the dreaded flip-flop and roll a 5. Roll a 5, which they still add the 8 from their fighting value, their overall fighting value, for a total of 13 commands. So I'm going to get out 13 of my little command chips. And I'm also going to look up this flip-flop. So in the game you have generals, and underneath generals you have leaders and commanders as, subcategories. So generals classed as leaders are permanent, like Varro here. This is Varro. Are permanently attached to a specific guard unit, like Varro is permanently attached to this average heavy cavalry, which is a specific guard unit as noted in the scenario, and are always activated with this unit. If the unit is shattered, they are killed, while if the unit becomes routed or withdrawn, they count as withdrawn and may not return to play. Leaders may also be killed without their guard unit being shattered. Okay. Then we have commanders. So I've got my 13 command chips here, or chips. So my 13 commands, and here we're looking at a commander, Hannibal, right here. Okay, so commanders have no facing or stacking value and never stop unit movement. They may be activated and move along with any unit or group which belongs in the same zone, in which case they remain with that group throughout its movement and may advance after combat if any of the units do so. Alternatively, they may be activated independently at no command cost and may simply be placed in any passable zone free of enemy units without tracing a movement path, or else withdraw permanently from the field. Commanders may be activated only once per turn. They never test their morale, but they are killed if the only unit in their zone is shattered, and they count as withdrawn if they leave the field, or if every unit in their zone becomes routed or withdrawn, or if they end their player turn in a zone with no friendly units, or with no friendly units undeployed if they are undeployed. Okay. Now, brilliant generals. This is the dreaded, the so-called dreaded flip-flop. Okay. So first of all, yes, Hannibal is a brilliant commander. So, Hannibal, brilliant commander. There's a separate section for brilliant generals. If you have a brilliant general, we have a brilliant commander in this case, you will usually start off having the second player turn in each turn. That's true. So far, the Romans have been going first each turn. But at the start of any turn except turn 1, you may declare that this order will be reversed on that and all subsequent turns. This will give you 2 player turns in succession, allowing you to seize the initiative or launch a surprise strike, as with Mago's ambush at the Trebia, or Caesar's use of infantry reserves against Pompey's cavalry at Pharsalus. You must make your announcement before any weather or command die rolls for that turn. A reversal cannot take place if both armies began the battle with a brilliant general, or if I was wondering what happens if both sides have a brilliant general, or if your brilliant general has been killed or withdrawn before your announcement, or in dry and dusty conditions. Okay. Moreover, to stop the flip-flop being too advantageous in straightforward frontal combat, you may not launch any attacks in the second player turn from any zones from which you attacked in the first player turn. Ooh. Note that individual units may be able to attack in both player turns as long as they do so from different zones, for example, following an advance after combat. Okay, so this is the flip-flop. So basically, in our example of play, Hannibal is going to switch the player turns, the player turn sequence. Okay, by way of battlefield bearings, this again is the river on the Roman right, the Carthaginian left. This is the Roman center. This is the Carthaginian center here, where Hannibal is, and we've got our 13 commands. So the veteran Spanish cavalry, we're referring to this veteran heavy cavalry and this veteran heavy cavalry that's also spent. This one with Hasdrubal. I make double moves using Hasdrubal's exemption, and what they're going to do is they're going to basically curve around and get into the Roman rear. So these are double moves. Yeah. Okay, so I think I still have to figure out. These might come off at the start of your player turn. Still haven't figured that out exactly. All right, Hasdrubal and his Spanish cavalry. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the double move. 2 for cavalry, double to 4. There, facing, well, what do you say? Well, facing to the Punic right. And then the spent Spanish cavalry does the same thing for 4. Like that. Okay, so now they're in the Roman rear. And then the spent Gallic cavalry, that's this one. That's the Gallic cavalry spent. The spent Gallic cavalry double move into the Roman right rear for 2 commands. So that's for 2 commands. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a double move. Okay. Okay. All right, so it's a double move. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Double move, 4. They're in the Roman right. Yep, right rear. Yep, for 2 commands. Yeah. Now the fresh Gallic cavalry back here goes moves up 1 and 2 to turn against the Roman flank there. That's for 1 command. For 1 command. Okay. Okay, this is the Carthaginian left center. Yes. Carthaginian left center, made up of all heavy infantry, 2 average, 2 veteran. They're attacking into this area, right ahead of them, with an attack bonus for the lead average unit. So now I think this is when I declare. I don't know what rules and limitations there are, but I think this average heavy infantry is being declared the lead unit. The levy light infantry, I think, is still the lead unit on the Roman side. So this is a total cost of 4 commands. That's the cost there for this attack. And they shatter the skirmishers outright on a roll of 10. So we'll say the Carthaginians rolled 10, which is raised to 3 because the defenders are levy infantry. Okay, so I think it was +3. +1 for the lead unit, +1 for the attack bonus paid for with 2 commands, I think. This is my presumption here. And another +3 for a non-levy unit attacking a levy unit for +3. Roll 10. +3 is a total of 13, which shatters the light infantry outright. So I think they are cease to exist as a organized unit. like that. Now we have morale. So you must take an army morale test every time one of your units is shattered and or one of your generals is killed. So, yep, we'll say, so the Romans roll a 5, we'll say, and the morale holds up. Morale holds up on a roll of 5. Why is that? Okay, so it looks like low morale rolls are bad, so 5 is good for the Romans. The 3 supporting units hit a legionary unit in an all-out attack with rolls of 4, 9, and 8. So, okay. These are the supporting units. Okay, I think they're saying these 3 supporting units make their attacks with rolls of 4, 9, and 8, resulting in one of the legionary units over here taking a hit. So we'll mark him as spent. Yeah, in an all-out attack, okay. Okay, in the right center of the Carthaginian line, I think the light infantry here are leading the attack. And the first 2 attackers receive bonuses costing 6 commands in all. Center. Okay. There's 6 commands, which we'll spend right here for this. Scores of 6 rising to 9, 6 rising to 7, 10, and 3. Make the Roman light infantry right here, which is also the Roman lead unit, being hit in an all-out attack. Oh, wait. Make the Roman light infantry and 1 legionary unit spend. Okay. Alright, so I think this comes away, certainly when it becomes spent. Alright, so the light infantry is spent. And ooh, that looks like a typo on the example. It's showing the light infantry is still the lead unit, but actually I think it's supposed to be bracketed as spent. So the text says Roman light infantry and 1 legionary unit, that's ALE, average legionnaire, spent from this attack at the cost of the Punic light infantry. Let's see, got this right. At the cost of the Punic light infantry being hit in an all-out attack. Yeah, ALI, average light infantry, spent, again, for ease of following, move him to the back of the area. Okay. All right, the example of play says the Numidians. I think the Numidians are the average light cavalry over here on the Carthaginian right. Are not activated since they cannot attack again from this zone, even were the commands available, but I just spent my last 6 commands here for this attack. In the center, okay, even though I'm showing all 13 commands having spent, the example shows in the center, in the Carthaginian center, Hannibal activates, so I guess maybe this is free, activates his group and joins them to give free bonuses to the first 2 attackers, offset for the lead unit by the penalty against fresh legionnaires. Those are the legionnaires over there, including a lead legionnaire unit. Scores of 10 rising to 11, 5 rising to 6, 9 and 6. That must be the 4 attacks from these. Okay, I think all of those Carthaginian attacks result in 1 spent legionnaire unit, which technically I think would be the lead unit here, which again I'll move him to the back. Move a fresh unit up there, and then the opportunity for a second hit through an all-out attack is rejected. So Hannibal is not going to take the opportunity for an all-out attack. And then lead units are selected as required. Okay, so after going through and choosing all of the lead units for the Carthaginian forces, we go on to the Roman player turn number 3. We'll say the Romans roll, oh yeah, and they get a 6. For commands, to 6, they add 6. Now, they were adding 7 before, but they have lost. They lost a levy light infantry, and they lost an average heavy cavalry unit so far. So the point values, fighting values of these two units would be subtracted from the Roman army overall value, which would be 65 now, which means that they're only getting 6 commands, not 7 before. So a roll of 6 plus 6 for a fighting value of 65 for the whole Roman army gives 12 commands. So I get my command marker. So Varro uses his exemptions to help activate his allied horse and to help give an attack bonus to both units. So there's a lot of attacking in this game, which is nice. Costing 4 extra commands in all. Okay, give attack bonus to both units. Alright, so we've got 6 for Paulus. 6 and 6 for 12 altogether. And we're saying, there's 12. So we're saying over here on the Roman left. So again, on the Roman left here, here's Varro. Varro uses his exemptions to help activate his allied horse. I guess it's both of these guys, the spent unit and the lead unit, his guard with him. To help give an attack bonus to both units, costing 4 commands there. Let's go with this. Okay, so we say, we'll say he rolls, a 6, which rises to 8, probably for the lead unit, yeah. And then he rolls again, and we'll say he rolls a 5, which rises to 6. I think that's for this unit. Have no effect, since all-out attacks are prohibited against the elusive Numidians, against the light cavalry, the Carthaginian light cavalry here. So I guess you can't use, well, in this case anyways, no all-out attack option against the light cavalry here. All right, back to the main Roman center areas. On the center left and center right, all units attack without bonuses at a cost of 4 commands. Here's 4 commands for these center attacks. With the light infantry here being penalized and attacking at half rate. All right, the result is only 1 unit in the Punic right center hit, because the Roman right center is handicapped by being surrounded on 3 sides. The Roman right here actually has Carthaginians on 1, 2, 3 sides. Okay, this is the results of these attacks. These attacks all only result in 1 heavy infantry being spent here in the Carthaginian right center. Okay. Okay, in the center, the remaining 4 commands, together with Paulus's exemption, allow the first 2 of the maximum 4 legionary attacks to be given attack bonuses. Okay. Here. The lead unit rolls a 7, raised to 9, and so scores a hit through an all-out attack. And I think the hit goes to... Well, it would go here. What am I saying? Go there as the lead unit. And Hannibal decides to leave the spend unit in play so as to keep the others fresh. The 3 supporting units inflict another hit. Okay, so they... Well, I guess the lead unit would be determined at the time of attack. Something like that, I think. Is that right? Yeah. Yes. Roman lead unit score another hit. The defending unit here is shattered. As Hannibal decides not to risk a rally attempt. So there. Carthaginians lose a heavy infantry. There we go. Okay. Morale roll of 2. Oh. Morale roll of... Yeah. Carthaginians roll for morale, having had a unit shattered, means that the light infantry in the zone only just stands with a morale of 1. Their spend status being offset by Hannibal. So their spend status being offset by Hannibal's charisma. A fresh legionary unit is put in the lead as the turn ends. Okay. So Roman player turn 3 is over. Okay, I'm going to set that lead unit there in this zone, this Roman legionnaire unit as lead there, and as well set the that legionary unit as lead unit there on the Roman right. And so the Roman army is confined to the center, right, left, and left front, left flank. So Hannibal, as a brilliant commander, has already reversed the player turn order. So for turn 4, it's the Punic player first. A roll of 3. Roll of 3 gives 11 commands since the fighting value is still 81. So even though the Carthaginians have lost this heavy infantry last turn, they still have a total fighting value of 81. So that's 8 commands. 8 plus the die roll of 3 is 11. So 11 commands. Okay, Hasdrubal here, which is in the Roman rear, sends the spent Spanish cavalry on a double move, 1, 2, and 3 to behind Varro's allied horse. So now Carthaginian Spanish horse has come up behind Varro and his allied cavalry. The Numidians here on the Carthaginian right flank attack with bonuses for 4 commands. 4 commands here. They attack Varro there. The fresh unit. Yeah, I forgot to replace that unit's spent marker when I took it out to do something with it. There we go. Okay, so we have a spent Numidian cavalry and a fresh Numidian cavalry, which is also the lead unit. So what we're saying is the fresh unit chooses an all-out attack with a score of, we'll say 7, which rises to 9. Borrows, compulsory rally attempt fails, so he switches the other unit back to the lead. Okay. Borrows compulsory rally attempt fails, so he switches the other unit back to the lead, like that. Like that. This is his guard unit. Spent unit, lead. The spent Numidian unit, this one, the spent Numidian unit is also lucky to hit with a roll of, ooh, that would have been nice. They're lucky with a roll of 9, rises to 10, and when Varro's rally attempt again fails, the unit is shattered. So I think this one is shattered. Like that, is shattered. The morale roll is 4 because the unit shattered. The Roman rally roll is 4. So Varro's unit routs with a morale of 0 thanks to the penalty for being encircled. Remember with the Spanish horse that came up in the rear. So carrying him away. So I think these ones, Varro and his cavalry, flee the battlefield. The nearby light infantry here that's spent also has a morale of 0, but they stand because nobody in their zone has routed or been shattered. The Numidians here, back to our action here. The Numidians advance onto the Roman left flank, though they will be tied up for a turn pursuing the enemy horse, the Roman heavy cavalry that fled with Varro. Okay, so we'll advance. They, I guess, at some point were spent as well. So they're spent. And that one's still spent, but now they're in the Roman left. So Hasdrubal, back here, wants to complete the encirclement of the Romans here. So the Roman left. So he uses his remaining exemption to turn in behind the Roman left center. Like that. Yes, like that. So all 4 Carthaginian units on the Carthaginian right center attack for 2 commands. And the 3 groups surrounding the Roman right center attack for 4 commands. Okay, no, that was on the other side of the battlefield. The 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, that have surrounded the Roman right center attack for for 4 commands. That's what I just said, but it's on this side of the battlefield. So we have attacks on the Roman right and the Roman left. 1 Roman legionary unit is hit in each of those attacks. So technically it goes like this. The lead legionary unit here is hit and spent like that. And again, just for my own tracking purposes, move him to the rear. Fresh guy moves up. None of this orientation within the areas has any particular rules meaning. And back on the Roman left, similarly, go like lead legionary unit like that is spent. That, and again, move him back with the other spent units, move the fresh guy up like that. Okay. In the center, Hannibal uses his exemptions, the 1 remaining command, and the special provision for a free about turn to make the historical retirement so as to trade space for time and draw the Romans forward into a pocket. Okay. So the Carthaginian units here retire to the Carthaginian rear center. And, okay. He'll be identified as the lead unit at the end of the turn, I believe, at the end of the turn. The heavy infantry make double moves, so we turn back to face, where am I? Okay. Took me a minute to figure out. They're talking about these heavy infantry. They use double moves to come back and turn about to face back towards the Romans. The light infantry can do that as well for just one move. Okay. Hannibal moves across to the Carthaginian right center there. Okay. So now, importantly, the Carthaginians have abandoned their center, which is also their key zone. So Hannibal moved over here, some infantry moved back here, and we have both flanks surrounded. Both flanks surrounded. Okay, Roman player turn 4, a roll of 2 there gives just 7 commands because we're only adding 5 because the Romans lost some of those units last turn, including Varro and his cavalry. So the fighting value of the Roman army has dropped to 56. So it is 5 plus the 2 for the roll. So that's what Paulus has to work with. 7 commands there. All right, at least Romans are compressed into 3 groups, 1, 2, 3. And as compared to the 8 Punic zones, moving all the way around the battlefield, the left center here attacks with 1 bonus for 4 commands. Here's 4 commands, left center, and the right center attacks for 2 commands, hitting the leading unit in the Punic left center, hitting the leading unit, okay, and the leading unit here, push back spent, like that. Oh, he would be at that time identified as the lead unit. Despite the penalties for being surrounded, okay, oh, I guess that's it. Okay, hang on. Although it looks like no effects, this legionary unit would also be identified as the lead unit here. Okay. In the center, Paulus uses his exemption plus the 1 remaining command to move his 4 fresh legionary units, that's these 4, into the key Punic center zone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, leaving his spent units, leaving his, somewhere along the way I missed that one. That one was supposed to be spent. Okay, somehow. He spent units to guard his own key zone. That's the Roman key zone. Although almost every Roman unit is now surrounded on 3 sides, there is still everything to play for given the tenuous nature of the outnumbered Punic cordon. The Romans currently have 63 victory points, 29 plus 0 plus 6 plus 28, while the Carthaginians have only 46.5. So it will take hard fighting and good command for the dispersed and exhausted Punic troops to hold the ring. Oh, Paulus is going to move up with his fresh units. There. And he, by the way, though spent, is still designated lead unit. Okay. All right. Okay. That's it. That's it for all of the action in the replay.